Welcome to another episode of The Lord's Delight. Today, I want to combine two things. The fact that our God is God of the impossible and He is also God of impeccable timing. I want to combine those both and call Him God of impossible timing. Why do I say that? Let's go to Genesis 18. This is the incident where Lord appears to Abraham by the oaks of Mamre. He sees him and then goes to offer him hospitality. And they say to him, "Where is Sarah, your wife?" And they say that, "I'll return to you about this time next year. Sarah, your wife, will have a son." And if you look at verse 12, it says, Sarah laughed. She thought it was ridiculous. Why? The reason is in verse 11. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, advanced in years. The way of women had ceased to be with Sarah. In another version, it says that she had stopped menstruating, which is she had gone to an age where she has actually gone into menopause. We know that these kind of biological things are not reversible in the human world. So when the promise came that next year Sarah would have a kid, obviously she thought it was ridiculous and she laughed. That is why I want to talk about God of impossible timing. Could God have given Abraham Isaac prior, much prior? Yes, He could have given Isaac to them in their youth. But He gave Isaac to them in an impossible timing where the world thought, including Sarah herself, that it was impossible because she was not in the way of women. Like that had completely stopped. But that did not stop God. This is why I want to call Him God of impossible timing. Let's also talk about Lazarus, the incident where Jesus raises him up. That happens in John 11. Lazarus has been in the tomb for 4 days. Verse 17 of John 11 says that. And can you imagine, within hours, body starts to decay. And yes, this was a body that would have been also embalmed according to tradition. And to think of that kind of person coming back to life, look at what Martha says. If you had been there, my brother would not have died. But I know that even now God will give you whatever you ask. And Jesus replies to her saying, your brother will rise again. And she says, I know he will rise again in the resurrection at the last day. Because to her at that time, that was impossible because the timing was wrong. If Jesus had come earlier, Lazarus would have been alive. But Jesus says, I am the resurrection and the life. The one who believes in me will live even though they die. And after asking her all this, he asks her, do you believe this? And she says, yes, Lord. I believe that you are the Messiah, the Son of God who is to come into the world. Then, if you actually see towards the end of the chapter, after verse 38, he asks them to take away the stone and he raises Lazarus up. He comes out with all that linen wrapped around him. And here you see another impossible timing. It was not just right after death or when Lazarus was on his sick bed. He was risen after he had been dead for 4 days. And people thought body would have decayed, order, let's not do this now. And even her sister who declared Jesus to be Messiah didn't think that it was possible at that time. This is why I want to call Him a God of impossible timing. And I want you to think back in your life to see what is something that you think cannot be accomplished now because the timing of it has passed away and it is not the time for it to happen. If it should have happened, it should have happened long back. Think about it and take that matter to God. Sarah thought she would never have kids because she was in menopause. Martha thought her brother would not get up because he'd been dead for 4 days. And you know what? Both the things happened because we have a God who is a God of impossible timing. The final example that I want to talk to you about regarding this impossible timing is in the book of Esther. If you look at Esther chapter 3, Haman wants to take revenge on Mordecai, and he works with the king and to come up with this royal edict to send script to all the satraps and governors, and this order literally carries the permission to destroy, kill and annihilate all the Jews, young, old, women, children, everybody on the 13th day of the 12th month, and to plunder their goods. This edict was issued in every province and was made known to people of every nationality, so they could be ready on that day to do this. And once this was gone out, how do you take that back? It's been issued and it has been taken to all those people, but that did not stop God from saving his people through Esther and Mordecai, because we know what happened in Esther 8. Could God have stopped this edict from going out? Probably, but what ended up happening was, through Esther, that step she took after everybody has been praying for her 3 days and nights, fasting and praying, she went before the king and invited him to the feast, and we all know what happened at the feast. Mordecai was finally sort of vindicated because all the plans of Haman came out, and Haman was hanged in the thing that he had prepared for Mordecai. And the king gave an edict that the Jews can defend themselves against that edict that was passed previously, and so they were saved. God's people were saved that day, because once the edict that king issues, it cannot be cancelled. But God had a way out. He is a God of impossible timing. So I just want to encourage you today. Whatever you think it's too late in your life for it, go to God, talk to him, because he is a God of impossible timing and you never know what he can do and when he can do. Okay then, I'll talk to you guys next week.